Tonight, world leaders are in St. John's for a Canada-EU meeting. We'll take you live to the gathering.
I'm Peter Cowan in Kitty Vitty. The Prime Minister is going to show a little bit of Newfoundland and Labrador hospitality. If the event gets underway in less than an hour, I'll tell you what we can expect.
Owes the province more money now than it did when it got a $100 million loan 9 years ago. We'll find out what happened.
To honor him in this way is, you can't put that into words.
10 years in the making, the province's first community-based hospice becomes a reality.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. The Prime Minister is in town getting ready to welcome European leaders tonight for an event that gets underway in less than an hour. Here and Now's Peter Cowan is live in Kitty Vitty. So Peter, what are we expecting tonight?
Well, we're expecting the Prime Minister to show the President of the European Commission and the European Council a little bit of Newfoundland and Labrador hospitality. They're hosting an event getting underway at 7 o'clock here in Kitty Vitty at the brewery just over behind me. And part of this will be a bit of a meet and greet, get to introduce them to the province, a bit of the scenery, the history and the culture. I was chatting with one of the chefs this afternoon who's preparing some of the foods for the reception, and there will definitely be a local flavor. There are some cod fritters that are on the menu, as well as some Jig's Dinner dumplings. Today, the Premier said that there are some local issues that he's going to want to bring to this meeting as well, but he thinks that it's important that Newfoundland and Labrador gets an opportunity to showcase itself to Europe and the world.
They picked it because it is the perfect backdrop right now in this time of geopolitical uncertainty and geopolitical tensions and changing energy requirements and the green transition. Newfoundland and Labrador is perfectly positioned right now to be a world leader in the green transition in particular.
Speaking of the green transition, the Prime Minister took an opportunity this afternoon to meet with some local pipe fitter apprentices who are learning some tricks of the trade, including how to install heat pumps, drawing attention to the fact that the federal government is upping the support that it provides to homeowners to transition from home heating oil to greener heat pumps, part of his pledge to delay the implementation of the carbon tax on home heating oil. So a little bit of politicking there, but when it comes to the agenda for the meetings with the EU leaders over the next day, there aren't going to be a ton of local issues. We know one of the local issues that people do want to see raised is the EU ban on seal products. The Premier said he will definitely be doing that when he gets a chance to chat with some of the EU leaders. And in fact, he'll be making a statement. He's promising to wear a sealskin coat to tonight's event.
The ban, I think, was put in place by the EU without full understanding and comprehension of how the harvest can occur in a humane fashion, especially reflecting on the importance of Indigenous participation and historic participation, traditional participation in a seal hunt. And I hope that them visiting here opens their minds to a potential different direction with respect to that ban.
So that's the issue for the Premier. We're not expecting any sort of announcement or agreement on the seal hunt to come out of this. They're going to be focused on bigger global issues like, for example, the war in the Middle East. And in fact, I'm not sure if you can hear it, there's a few protesters that are already here to greet the Prime Minister and EU leaders to express their concern about what's happening in Gaza. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Peter Cowan.
Well, a large loan from the provincial government 9 years ago helped save the struggling newsprint mill in Corner Brook. Now, CBC has learned the owners have not made a payment on that loan in years, and the balance is swelling. Here Now's Terry Roberts has that story.
It's spelled out in the government's audited year-end financial statements. Corner Brook Pulp and Paper owes the province $117 million. And the parent company, Kruger, is refusing to comment on why its debt is now higher than the day they got the loan 9 years ago. This is 2014. Then PC Premier Tom Marshall signing off on a $110 million loan for the mill, a lifeline to pay for critical upgrades and increase the mill's competitiveness in a shrinking global newsprint market. It was a good deal. Quarterly loan payments of $1.85 million, with the first payment due in 2019, 5 years after the loan was approved. The mill is now in the midst of a week-long shutdown. The company is blaming poor markets and the need for some maintenance at the mill, so we decided to check on the status of that loan. It turns out the balance has grown by $7 million. Why? Because the company made just 3 payments in 2019 and hasn't made a payment since. In an email, Finance Minister Siobhan Cody said the government has not triggered a default on the loan because the company is going through a difficult time. She said they are talking with the company. The loan is secured by a mortgage over the company's hydropower plants at Deer Lake and Watson's Brook and its water rights. The province has agreed to buy the power plants and water rights at fair market value if the mill closes, minus any money owing to the province. As for Kruger, spokesman Jean Majot responded to my email, but only to say the company will not be commenting. The mill employs roughly 300 people. It contributes about $50 million annually to the province's economy. But the newsprint market has shrunk dramatically, and taxpayers have helped keep the operation afloat. In addition to the loan, the government has invested $70 million into Corner Brook Pulp and Paper since 2010. And 5 years ago, the province signed a guarantee of up to $88 million for the company's pension plan deficit. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
The mother of a CBS woman who was murdered by an ex-boyfriend 10 years ago is calling for changes she hopes will protect others. Debbie Hibbs spoke this morning at the Confederation Building in St. John's. She was there for a flag-raising event to mark the beginning of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Here now's Mark Quinn reports.
When Julianne turned 16, her life spiraled out of control. The perpetrator who came into her life took over her life.
Debbie Hibbs says her family knew there was something deeply wrong with her daughter's relationship with Brian Daw long before he killed Julianne Hibbs. He was 9 years older than Julianne and built walls between her and her parents.
We tried to implore upon the RNC that there was a real concern here. He controlled everything. We were always told she was in the gray area of the law, but nobody could ever really explain what that meant. Only there was nothing they could do.
Daw murdered Julianne in CBS on October 15, 2013, and then took his own life. Julianne's mother believes more could have been done to protect her.
I truly wonder if this same scenario happened today. Would there be any help for Julianne? I'm not convinced.
She's calling for legislative changes that would give parents and police more powers to intervene in a relationship of a family member who's under the age of 19.
16 years old is not an adult. At 16 years old, you can't use a tanning salon, can't buy lottery tickets, can't receive GST, you can't vote. But at 16 years of age, you can be abused, manipulated, and controlled, held and confined with no contact with family or friends.
Speaking at an event that was attended by the minister responsible for women and gender equality, Hibbs said she had hoped to speak with the Justice Minister.
I was disappointed that Minister Hogan, the Justice Minister, wasn't here. So, these were important events. Why don't we have these people here?
Officials in the Justice Department said Hogan was not available because he was scheduled to attend another meeting. In a statement, he said he would welcome a meeting with Debbie Hibbs at another time. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
The Halibut First Nation chief is stepping down. Brendan Mitchell says he'll focus on his new role as the regional chief for Newfoundland with the Assembly of First Nations. Mitchell was first elected as chief of the Halibut in 2015. He dealt with the controversial enrollment process in 2017 that saw many lose their status. Halibut First Nation will not hold an election to fill Mitchell's spot. Instead, the Band Council will vote between two vice chiefs to fill the role until the next general election in late 2024.
Certainly a lovely start to the day here in the east. Lots of sunshine, but that quickly changed, especially across the western portions of the island. And the reason for that, an area of low pressure that is currently moving in. If we take a look at what's happening as far as weather is concerned on the satellite and radar, zooming in a little bit, we can see lots of that snow moving in the white. The purple is showing you where the ice pellets are at the moment, or at least radar is indicating that. Some freezing rain in the pink, and then in behind that we've got lots of rain, heavy rain being reported in Stevenville at the moment and all along the south coast of the island. That is what is going to continue to head north and east through the night tonight. A number of warnings in place. The biggest threat at this point, freezing rain, and those warnings extend from Grossmorn through to Corner Brook, the interior, the Green Bay White Bay area or Bayvert Peninsula, and then into Grand Falls, Windsor. So we're expecting a number of hours of freezing rain tonight. I will break down the entire forecast for you coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. The site of a fitness center in St. John's could soon be home to a 10-story apartment building. While the units won't be considered affordable housing, they could be a small step toward alleviating the local housing crisis. Here Now's Heather Gillis spoke with the hopeful developer.
Location, 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 one of the biggest factors in real estate. And it's why KMK Capital wants to tear down this building on New Cove Road in St. John's to build this, a 10-story apartment with 108 units and a parking garage.
This is an excellent location. The road network is great, the neighboring amenities, the supermarket, the trails, it's right on transit. So we just think it's a really nice site.
Lotta says rents aren't set yet because the construction costs aren't finalized. The units won't be what's considered affordable by Newfoundland and Labrador Housing's definition, but Lotta says they will be affordable for many people. And if his new apartment build in Churchill Square is any indication, demand is high.
And that's a little bit of a different product, but we've received thousands of calls for people looking for apartments. Predominantly two-bedroom. The demand is significant, and from the studies we've gotten that have been backed up by the inquiries we've received, we estimate there's 3,000 to 4,000 unit shortage in St. John's today.
Earlier this week, St. John City Council voted to consider rezoning this land from institutional to residential to allow the build. St. John's Mayor Danny Breen says next steps include public consultation and a land use report. Breen won't say if he'll support further votes on the project, but says he's interested and thinks the city needs more density.
Then we're going to have to go up, aren't we? That's just it's just the way this is going to happen. And I think we want to create more density in our city. In this location, for example, 10 stories at the bottom of a grade like this is a good place for additional height.
As for the gym that sits here now, in a letter to members earlier this month, Max Fitness says it's shutting down mid-December because relocating isn't feasible. Lotta says his timeline to construct a 10-story apartment building here is ambitious. He hopes to have his approvals from City Hall by the spring and then says it'll take 2 years after that to construct it. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
The Lionel Kelland Hospice is about to open in Grand Falls, Windsor. It's the first hospice in the province and has been in the works for nearly 10 years. Here Now's Troy Turner was there for the opening.
The rooms are built with comfort in mind. The colors, the decor, and most of all, patient care, all designed to create a sense of ease as they enter end of life.
No longer will we be the only place in Canada without a residential hospice. We can now apply our boundless capacity for compassion and kindness to do it better than anyone else.
The Presentation Sisters donated their former convent in 2016. Volunteers have fundraised, found community partners, and helped to bring in provincial money to make this happen.
This is a regional facility that has provincial buy-in, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing this succeed for patients and families and for it being replicated in other regions in the province.
The building's namesake is fitting.
Lionel was a longtime family physician who practiced in Grand Falls, Windsor. He was dedicated to his patients. He believed in the sanctity of life, and that end-of-life care was an integral part of the healthcare continuum.
It's a pillar of medicine and a leader in the region, a leader for hospice. And this is a legacy, this building, the spirit captured in the walls of this place will be an enduring legacy and testament to what he stood for.
It's a little hard to put into words to see his name there. But to know that his philosophies as, a real family doctor and believing in care for not only patients but their families, and knowing that his colleagues recognized his desire for that, and to honor him in this way you can't put that into words.
It's such an incredible honor bestowed upon Dad through his own philosophies around end-of-life care, to see him turn patient where colleagues turn caregivers, to have that experience grow into something so inspiring that will serve our community and our province for years to come. It's overwhelming.
Meanwhile, the Canadian Hospice Palliative Care Association is hoping to see more hospices open up in this province.
I firmly believe that access to quality palliative care is a fundamental human right, period, and that it can no longer be approached as the luck of the postal code draw, the palliative care lottery.
Staff are in the middle of a recruitment drive and doing some last-minute tweaks and renovations on the building. Following that, the hospice will set to open in about 6 to 8 weeks. Troy Turner, CBC News, Grand Falls, Windsor.
A woman in St. John's took out a loan to tear down her dream home. It's just another step in a 3-year saga with the city. You may remember this story. 3 years ago, Tiffany Elton purchased a home in the center of St. John's, only to realize it wasn't a home at all. It was a former commercial garage, one that had been burned out in a fire. The structure was then later converted into a house, but without the proper permits or notifying the city. Elton says she's been on the financial hook ever since. Reporter Lionel Kelland was there for the teardown.
It's been a long time coming, like 3 years. 3 years I've been stuck in this battle, and with this coming down, it'll feel like I can start to try to move on and find a solution.
And the city is not paying for this?
No, the city is not paying for this. I got a loan for this, so I'm going to be paying this off for the next 2 years.
Where are you at right now with your decisions to either move forward legally or to go after the city, or do you take this coming down as a sense of like, you're going to get this done and then move on?
I'm going to get this done and try to move on. I mean, I think I'm going to be stuck with the land. I would like to rebuild on the property. That's my ultimate goal because I still need a house. My goal now is to just pay off the loan for the demo and then figure out how to rebuild. I have some good quotes in. I just don't qualify for a high enough mortgage right now because of all this and the changing prices. But while I'm looking for contractors who can build this for $145,000, like, if anyone can build a house for $145,000, call me. Yeah, I'd like to rebuild. I really would. But I mean, affordable housing isn't that easy to come across or to build, as I'm discovering. I've had a lot of quotes. I want to move forward.
And I guess that kind of leads to my last question, which is why was it important for you to see it come down?
For closure. For closure. I want to see this thing destroyed because in a lot of ways it'll be wiping the slate clean, like emotionally, physically, like, I gotta see it go. I need closure.
Well, the Pharmacy Association says there is a staggering number of vacant positions across the province. They want the government to deal with the shortage by recruiting and retaining more people. It's the same problem the rest of the healthcare system is dealing with. There are about 100 vacant pharmacist positions province-wide. The health department is holding an information session next month for internationally trained pharmacists. They're also talking about increasing the number of seats in MUN's pharmacy program. In the meantime, though, pharmacists here are feeling the strain.
As we know, there are issues with lack of primary care right now. So a lot of people in Newfoundland and Labrador don't have access to a physician or a nurse practitioner to manage their primary care needs. So, their pharmacist is playing a very big role in that right now, and they're helping to fill a lot of those gaps. So in some small communities, there is a lot of pressure on pharmacists because, they feel like they are the only person in their community who's the constant there to provide healthcare. So when we look at these individuals and, what they're doing for their communities, they need a break sometimes too. But right now it's very difficult to get any relief pharmacists or locums into our most rural areas.
Just that community event for everyone to make that new friend, get that new personal record, just challenge yourself that they wouldn't do in a class environment.
The 7th version of the Rock Games will be happening this weekend. I stopped by Islander Athletics, who is hosting it, to learn a little more.
The radar picture full of colors this evening. We do have some freezing rain on the way for parts of central west coast. We'll have all the details coming up.
We had some beautiful sunshine here in the east today, but not so much for central areas, right? It was a bit messier there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll be through the next couple of hours anyway as our system moves in. We're certainly seeing some weather on the southwestern portion of in the southwestern portion of the province, but the temperatures are going to play a role over the next couple of hours. Already seeing temperatures above zero for Stevenville. You are reporting lots of heavy rain. You head towards Deer Lake, though, sitting at -1, Gander -2. You will see some snow or ice pellet mixture move in over the next little bit. But around Deer Lake right now, last time I checked, reporting some freezing rain, which is pretty much right on par as to what should happen through the night tonight. So we've got that snow moving in first. Looks like it's mixing with ice pellets through parts of Central. And then we do have that freezing rain on the west coast at the moment in the higher elevations, and then again inland areas along the south coast. Now we are seeing that transition through to rain, and that will continue as this system continues to move north through the night tonight. Just stopping that radar picture there so you can get a good indication of what's happening. Rain already moving in for southern areas of the Avalon, with a bit of freezing rain just to the north of that, and ice pellets just on the doorstep, if not already, in Clarenville. So as far as the weather tonight, we will see this extended period of freezing rain, likely 4 or 5 hours through parts of Central, as those temperatures hang out below zero for the most part tonight. Once we get past the midnight hour, that is when the temperature should start to warm up, and then we will see that transition through to rain, and all of that ice should melt. So with the freezing rain potential, there is potential to see some significant accretion of some ice. So that means surfaces, road surfaces, your car, those sorts of things, likely going to see some ice buildup, as well as the potential for some power lines. So we could see some power outages, isolated power outages with this. So definitely keep that in mind through the night tonight, especially as we start to see the temperatures warm up and that ice melts. We do tend to see some arcing with that as well. Now the northern peninsula, you will see snow mixed with ice pellets. You could pick up about 5 to 10 centimeters in total, but that transition, like I said, past midnight will be back to rain, and everything that does fall as far as ice is concerned should melt. And then for eastern areas, this will be a mainly rain event, and you'll likely just see about 5 to 10 millimeters through the night tonight. Snow, the story up across Labrador. As far as that freezing rain potential, here you go. The darker pinks is where we'll likely see the most. We could be talking about 5 to 10 millimeters of freezing rain. I know it doesn't sound significant, but it may in some areas, especially in the higher elevations on the west coast. And then as far as your forecast goes for tonight, now temperatures, like I said, are sitting into the minus single digits, but they'll warm up quite significantly, 6 to 8 degrees as we head towards the morning hours. A bit breezy in the east, 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. The strongest winds, though, will be around the Port Peninsula and southwestern portions of the island, where we could see, especially in southerly winds or southeasterly winds, if you're prone to them, you could be seeing those gusts over 100 kilometers per hour tonight. Single digits, minus single digits for Labrador, minus 20 in Lab City tonight. So it definitely is going to be a chilly night. As we head through tomorrow, that will move through fairly quickly. We'll just see some onshore flurries for the west coast as the day goes on tomorrow, and then potentially some flurry activity for coastal areas of Labrador as well. Temperatures are going to stay mild tomorrow morning, at least for the eastern half of the island, along with some breezy winds gusting anywhere from 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. The rain will end in the morning, and then we should actually see some sun come out. And then up across Labrador, you're looking at temperatures quite cold in the west, but you're hanging on to some single-digit temperatures on the plus side of the mercury for the southeast. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Ashley. Well, an upcoming fitness event in St. John's won't just have people flexing and showing off their strength. The Rock Games also comes with rewards. CrossFitters, as well as some strong men and women competitors, are taking over Islander athletics this weekend. About 60 athletes from across the island will be there. Jeremy Eaton stopped by to learn more.
The 7th version of the Rock Games will be taking over Islander athletics this weekend, and that means some of the best CrossFitters in the province will be coming here to compete. Now, this is something that you might not have known about, so let me tell you.
Let's go, Sean. Hard pulls.
Grown like substantially. We've noticed a big change in our membership, the interest. I think people are looking for a more, functional fitness versus those cookie cutter gyms, more interactiveness. I think after COVID, everyone was just a little, lonely, honestly, and like they needed that extra motivation to get back into enjoying fitness. So a lot of the people tend to like their group classes here. The 7th annual Rock Games, so it's basically our most memorable experience for most of our Islanders, but we have athletes from all across the province that are coming here, all the way from Corner Brook, Gander. It's a team event, it's a 2-day competition, 5 events across the 2 days, so it's quite, the heavy workload for the athletes, but everyone seems to have fun, it's grown, it's changed a lot over the years, but ultimately it's just that community event for everyone to make that new friend, get that new personal record, just challenge yourself that they wouldn't do in a class environment, essentially. The men's competitive division, women's competitive division, and mixed peers open division. So the competitive divisions will get first, second, third place. The open divisions is just based off completion of the work. They're there to have fun, have a laugh, be in that community atmosphere, and they do get entered for raffle prizes. So once we had the coaching, we had the information, we started reaching out to the strongman community here and trying to collaborate our events. And this weekend is the first one that we're doing kind of officially, I guess, together, the Record Breakers Newfoundland. Spectators are definitely allowed to come and watch. You won't want to miss it anyway, but we are asking them, all the spectators that are coming, to bring a monetary donation for the local food banks or a food item for the food banks as a part of their entry. I think like CrossFit's kind of like a universal language. We all kind of, you might not know the lingo of all the movements or whatnot, but that community, when you step into a CrossFit gym, it's welcoming, it's for everyone. It doesn't matter your abilities. People know that you got to start somewhere, and that's just kind of the morality that CrossFit has going behind it. It's a no judgment space. It's open. It's accepting for every single body type. So that's basically the draw, I think, for a lot of people in the CrossFit gym.
Long, grueling workout. Wicked work. Awesome, everyone.
I'm doing the speed limit on Torbay Road, 50 kilometers an hour, and I'm being passed left, right, and center. One young driver who lives in Torbay says this low speed limit is going to kill people.
We've got people weaving through traffic. We've got road rage issues. I've seen people pass in oncoming.
That story coming up. A young driver just outside the city of St. John's says this stretch of Torbay Road is a safety hazard because the speed limit here is too low. Liam Carroll is here with me. So Liam, what's the problem with this stretch of highway, or I should say road?
Well, I believe that the problem with this stretch of road is that the limit is far too low. I believe that this causes traffic backups, road rage, and it generally is unnatural to be driving at a speed that is way lower than what the road should be.
So what makes you think that this stretch of road, 50 kilometers an hour, is too low?
Well, we're dealing with a 5-lane road here, 2 lanes of travel in each direction, divided by a painted median, linking 2 pretty big population centers. We've got commuter traffic driving on it, students, anything, and there's a lack of driveways, there's a lack of residential areas along this particular stretch. It's just trees on either side.
As we're talking, I don't actually notice a lot of the cars doing 50. What have you seen here that makes you think it's actually a safety hazard?
Well, I think that most drivers, with the exception of a few, are going to go the speed that a road feels right, like that it feels right to be traveling at. And so I'd say that the average person does about 70, sometimes even 80 here. And people who are trying to be law-abiding citizens and going 50, especially in the passing lane, I think that this is very hazardous because you've got people who want to do the speed that feels right on the road, which is realistically 70 kilometers an hour, backing up for sometimes kilometers behind them. You've got drivers pulling some rather unsafe maneuvers to get around them.
Such as?
So we've got people tailgating, we've got people weaving through traffic, we've got road rage issues. I've seen people pass in oncoming. And I think that the real problem here isn't those drivers, but it's actually the limit itself.
Now, you've brought your concerns to the authorities, right? What have they told you? I mean, you dealt with the city and the province. What kind of response have you gotten?
So while the responses were detailed, they did not really answer my question, and I was essentially dismissed because I get a feeling they thought it was ridiculous that I was saying the limit was too low because it's counterintuitive. But both the provincial and municipal government told me, so you've got the town line over there, and the city of St. John's maintains this part, and then the province maintains the other part. And they've both told me that the limit is 50 in order to be consistent with the limit on the other side.
Yeah, but the other side's a completely different kind of road. It's not like this.
That's correct. So it doesn't really make sense, does it?
So I just want to be clear, you've got some drivers coming the left are doing 50. A lot of people, you say, and you can see them here, are doing 70, maybe faster. Is that the danger right there?
Well, I think that both sides are really posing a danger here, and I think that the root of the problem is the limit itself. A common response that I've gotten when I've brought this to people's attention is that they say that people are just in a rush, except I think that this goes well beyond that. I think that it's unnaturally low. I think that it's inconsistent with other roads.
It's amazing, as we're talking, there goes one right now. People are slowing down when they see Daryl, our cameraman here, but everybody here, very few people are doing 50.
That's right. So there's kind of a running joke in Torbay that almost everyone has gotten at least one speeding ticket here. I can't say I've gotten one myself, except there also seems to be relatively little enforcement on this stretch considering how many people do go above the limit on a daily basis. Even people who have gotten pulled over continue to do the speeds they were doing before just because it's that low.
Last question, I put you in charge of roads. What speed limit sign would you put right here?
Right here, I put 70 kilometers an hour, and then further down, when you get closer to residential areas, I would put it to 60, and after the bypass, when you're going through Torbay, that's when I would put it down to 50. I think that if you've got like a highway type of environment, we should see those conditions reflected in the speed limit.
All right, Liam, you make a pretty persuasive case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Adam Walsh, host and producer of The Signal. We traveled all the way from St. John's to Happy Valley Goose Bay to do some shows, some live shows. The first of which, Mokami Status of Women's Thrifties, which is, well, where we are right now. Just finished the show, so check out the highlights.
Working at Mokami has also been an incredible opportunity. I feel really lucky to be in this role and learn and work alongside so many amazing, strong, powerful women and gender diverse people in our community. So yeah, really happy to share a bit of our story today.
Tell a bit more about the backstory of Mokami then.
Sure. So Mokami has been a really essential service, I think, in our community for many years now. Started by a group of women in 1979 with an initial goal to create shelter for women experiencing intimate partner violence. That led to the creation of our friends down at Lieber House, who are doing some really incredible work. And then Mokami has grown and evolved since then and has led us to creating 3 really holistic programs, including our Women's Center, a housing program, and a social enterprise.
My name is Rosie Winters. I'm originally from Hopedale. I moved up here in 1989, so quite some years from here, since 89, and back and forth to my hometown every now and then on special occasions or just for a trip. This is my second time now living in Mokami Status of Women apartments. This year is my second year. I moved in here in July 2021. Been having my ups and downs since I've been in here, and with all the support, the housing workers, the workers all here, they're real supportive. And we do go on outings, which is good for us. Like we'll go bear picking or we go down to the beach. Yeah. And there's retreats, family gatherings, so that's a good thing here too in the Mokami Status of Women. Yeah. Like we have family suppers. Okay. Yeah, and we have crafts during the evenings. Mm-hmm.
We are in Thrifty Fashions. So Thrifties is our almost 40-year-old social enterprise, and you'll hear from folks that work in the store and operate our supportive employment program. So yeah, we are surrounded by racks of clothing generously donated by our community.
I'll probably get choked up, but it's very empowering to see these young ladies that have worked so hard to go from where they were when they first started to where they are when they finish, to watch them grow and to learn and to become confident. Yeah. There's no better feeling in the world.
This is a series of letters that have been written by some women in our community, survivors of intimate partner violence. They have kind of taken their advice and put it in a letter, and we've created a book so that when folks come visit us, they can check it out. Dear survivor, I know it's hard. You feel small, unloved, maybe a little broken. It's okay. Help is out here. There's no judgment, no need to feel scared. We love you and want to help you. There's nothing you did wrong, and it's not your fault. You are worth it.
In the event of an invasion during the Second World War, Stevenville was North America's first line of defense. A new theater production inspired by the town's Air Force base is touring the province. Megan Greeley's To the Girls was commissioned by the Stevenville Theater Festival to mark its 45th anniversary.
Here, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. I know you do not like me, Flo, and I cannot help but feel that you are giving me a poisonous candle. It's citronella. It stinks. It's an American thing. You burn it outside. It's for keeping away the flies. It's November. Look! The stores aren't open before work. It was the only candle I had around. Throw it away, come on.
We just finished our 45th anniversary season over the summer, which was fantastic. We had great crowds out and wonderful shows. And we're continuing that celebration of the 45 years we've been around with our provincial tour of To the Girls by Megan Greeley, which opens this Friday and crosses the province. To the Girls is an original production that Stevenville Festival commissioned and the Arts and Culture Centre are promoting on this tour. It's directed by Heather Broughton, our artistic director, and it's all about the women who worked on the base in Stevenville in the 60s and all the trials and tribulations that they went through about life here in Stevenville during that time. If you like theater or live theater, if you like drama, if you like plays, then you could do no wrong. This is a beautiful production, wonderful, wonderful acting, great directing. The set and the lights are really, really something. And we've got top-notch professionals working on this, some of the best actors you could find in the province. And I've seen it in 2021 when we had our premiere production here. And you know, it's every time you remount something, it gains some new legs, it gains some new insight, and you know, it's better every time, I think, sometimes. So I can't wait to see the production myself, and I just think it's really important that we share this with the rest of the province.
The Spirit Song Festival is happening all week in St. John's, and as part of the Indigenous Arts and Culture celebration, Here Now's Aoife Alaba stopped by an all-ages dance workshop to speak with instructor Larry Zazzi and get a bit of a workout.
Feel your body, allow your body to feel the drum beat, the heartbeat.
I learned it at a very young age, about 7 years old, at a local community powwow called the Meskwaki Indian Powwow. I used dance as a way for expression of my spirit, of myself, of who I am, and it also builds confidence within me, and also gave me a platform to deliver the message of goodwill and humanity, and bringing unity to everyone around the world, especially what's happening around the world. I'm here to do a workshop for the community to show the intricate footwork of fancy dance, the dance that I've been doing for most of my life, and I want to show the community that anybody can dance. I have a pretty good way of reading my audience, so I know how to push the limits on my participants, but also make it fun but challenging. I want them to feel good about themselves. The dance builds strong relationships with themselves, confidence, and that you can take on any challenge, especially with movement, and with a little help of coordinating the footwork and finding the rhythm. We all have rhythm within ourselves. It's finding that rhythm and syncing it with music. It makes it a lot more easier. There's so much love for the culture, especially here in Newfoundland. And it reminds me of back home in my community of the Meskwaki Indian settlement. We are very tied to our roots through our language and through our ceremonies and through song and dance. It means a lot to me, it means the world to me, because dance is a way to express and bring unity to each and every one of us, no matter what background you come from. And the music, the rhythm in the music allows us to freely express our movement through music and dance. And so with me, when I share my dance, I'm giving a little bit about myself. It's a gift. And I don't own this dance, I'm simply here to share it.
Yep, that definitely looked like a workout for sure. So we're heading into the forecast for the long weekend, and of course, people are going to be out and about, Christmas shopping downtown or wherever. Christmas parade is coming up on Sunday for St. John's. How are things looking so far?
Yeah, there's lots going on this weekend. We're certainly, 'tis the season, that's for sure. It actually looks like a quiet weekend, which is very nice after what we are seeing tonight and into the first half of tomorrow. Let's take a look. It will feel very wintry though. We'll get back into that cold pattern, which means onshore flurries for the west coast. Now there is a chance Saturday morning that we'll see a bit of a disturbance move through, which may bring some showers or flurries to eastern portions of the island, but that's about it. It'll move through fairly quickly by lunchtime or even early evening or late afternoon, I should say. We'll likely see that clear out with some sunshine. Up across Labrador, quiet as well. Once we say goodbye to that area of low pressure, things should clear out, but it is going to be chilly, especially in the west. Your daytime highs hovering around -10 through the day on Saturday. The rest of the Big Land into the minus single digits, and that drop in temperatures across the island as well. So anywhere from 0 to about -5 for central, west coast, northern peninsula, and further east. Like I said, that potential for a few showers, so that's why the potential for a few showers is because the temperatures will be around the 2-degree mark. So once we get into Saturday evening and eventually into Sunday morning, it should be fairly quiet. Again, just that chance of some onshore flurries right along the west coast. A pretty good setup for that with those temperatures fairly chilly and winds onshore. Up across Labrador, though, you're looking at a mix of sun and cloud for the most part. Maybe a few flurries towards the Strait as the evening rolls through on your Sunday, but it is looking fairly nice. Temperatures will hover around the 0-degree mark, maybe a bit above, especially towards the south coast of the island, and then temperatures moderating in the west, Lab West, otherwise minus single digits for the rest of the Big Land. Now the long range forecast showing another warm up as we get into Tuesday of next week. Also looks like this one might bring some windy conditions as well, this area of low pressure, but between 3 to 7 by the time we get into Tuesday. Now for central Newfoundland, you're looking at a similar warm up, maybe a degree or two colder for western Newfoundland, but you'll still be sitting in the single digits, either showers or flurries, the story for you. And then for Labrador, at least the east, you're looking at sunshine through the weekend. Monday, the chance of a few flurries, and by Tuesday, showers or flurries will return. But again, your daytime highs will be around 3 degrees, but the temperatures are going to drop. Some colder air moving in, and that will be the story for western Labrador as well. Some light snow for Monday, Tuesday, some flurries, and look at your overnight low Tuesday night, -20. So we're definitely dropping as far as those temperatures are concerned. Definitely feeling more winter-like. This weather photo, Carolyn, wowing, it's beautiful. This was Derek's photo he took while he was out on a bike ride in the morning near Burgeo. Some high seas there. Thank you so much for that. And if you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, you can send them to my Facebook page or you can email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, that is a great shot. Thank you so much for that, Derek. And some other things happening on the weekend too. Labrador City has its Christmas tree lighting on Saturday, I think, following the parade in Lab West. That parade is on Sunday, so I think it said like -5 and some flurries for that area on Sunday, so not too bad at all.
Very winter-like.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good night.